All right, thank you guys. I'm feeling great on a Saturday morning because we went 5-0 in our 5 premium sports picks on brockpage.com yesterday. We're also 5-1 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks on that very same website. We currently have over 900 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website. And once again, that's brockpage.com. Now, the Hawks are going to take on the Cavaliers here today, 6 o'clock Eastern start time. Atlanta's -7, totals 223. Now, the Hawks took care of Dallas in their opener. The score there was 113-87. Cam Reddish had 20 points, 3 rebounds. He was also 3 of 4 from downtown. Meanwhile, Trae Young had 19 points along with 14 assists. The Hawks shot 43% from downtown. They're officially in the top 3 in the league with that particular stat. They're taking on an 0-2 Cleveland team who's dead last in the league in offensive rebounding. The Cavs are also letting their opponents make 53% of their field goals. Windler and Garland are questionable for Cleveland. When it comes to the total in this one, the Cavs are 2-0 to the over thus far in the season. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta -7 in the over 223. Next ball game, Heat versus the Pacers, 7 o'clock East. The Miami Heat are -4.5, totals 223. Now, the Heat destroyed Milwaukee in their opener by 42 points. Miami scored 137 total points in that ball game, and they shot over 53% from the field. Tyler Hero had 27 points and 6 rebounds. Hero was also 56% from the field, and he made 4 of 8 three-pointers. Jimmy Butler also had 21 points himself, 4 rebounds, 6 assists for Jimmy Buckets. He was also 9 of 11 from the stripe. Not only did Miami score a whole lot of points in their opener, but they held the Bucks to just 38% shooting from the field. Now keep an eye on Lowry and Dedmon. Both are listed as questionable for today's game. They're taking on a winless Pacer team who's also 0-2 against the spread as well. Now Indiana's been giving up a whole bunch of points defensively, and they're allowing their opponents to make nearly 47% of their three-pointers. Now Warren and LeVert, they're still out. Meanwhile, Martin, he's listed as questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Indiana's 2-0 to the over thus far in the season. Meanwhile, Miami's opener flew over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Miami -4.5 and the over 223. Next contest, Mavs Raptors, 7:30 Eastern tip. Dallas is -4, totals 216.5. The Mavs got manhandled in their opener against Atlanta. Final score was 113-87. Dallas shot only 33% from the field, and they currently rank dead last in the NBA in that particular category. They're taking on a Toronto team who's doing a very nice job of rebounding offensively. But out of their 2 games this year, it's actually their defensive play that's really stood out. Toronto's allowing just 90 points a game through 2 contests, and they're holding their opponents to just 26% shooting from downtown. Gary Trent Jr. is averaging 3.5 steals a game thus far. Freddie Van Fleet with 2.5 steals himself. Now, scoring-wise, Scotty Barnes is scoring 18.5 points a game along with 11 rebounds. Barnes is shooting nearly 54% from the field. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, Toronto's 2-0 to the under thus far in the season. Dallas saw their opener stay under the line. I'm going to lean toward Toronto +4 and the under 216.5. Next matchup, Pistons Bulls, 8 o'clock East. The Chicago Bulls are -8.5, totals 213 and a hook. The Bulls are 2-0 right now, and they're looking pretty good. They put up 128 points against the Pelicans, and they also held this very Pistons team to just 88 points in the opener. Now offensively, Chicago's shooting nearly 42% from beyond the arc. Zach LaVine's averaging 33 points a night through 2 ball games. LaVine's shooting over 61% from the field and 50% from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, DeMar DeRozan's averaging 21.5 points a night along with 6.5 boards. Now, defensively, the Bulls are currently in the top 10 in fewest points allowed per game. I know it's only been 2 games, not a huge sample size, but it is what it is. They are in the top 10 in fewest points allowed per game. Now, they're taking on a Pistons squad who, once again, they could only muster up 88 total points in their opener against Chicago. As a matter of fact, the Pistons made just 21% of their three-pointers in that ball game. Livers, Cunningham, and Smith, they're still out. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Pistons are probably going to struggle to break 100, in my opinion, with this particular game. 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Chicago also fell under the line. I'm going to lean toward the Bulls minus 8.5 and the under 213 and a hook. Next ball game, Pelicans, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Minnesota's minus 7, totals 228.5. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they won their season opener against Houston by nearly 20 points. The T-Wolves shot over 42% from three-land, and they were led by Karl Anthony Towns, who scored 30 along with double-digit rebounds. Towns also had a couple of steals and a couple of blocks. Anthony Edwards also had 29 points in the opener himself, 6 of 12 from downtown as well. And as good as Minnesota was offensively, they also held the Rockets to just 106 points, and they got 41 total rebounds on defense. Now, they're taking on a winless Pelicans team who failed to cover the point spread in both of their losses. New Orleans is allowing their opponents to make 51% of their three-pointers against them. They're dead last in the league in defending the three ball. When it comes to the total on this one, 6 out of these teams' last 10 gatherings got over the number. And as a matter of fact, Minnesota averaged nearly 119 points a game in those very contests. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota minus 7 in the over 228.5. Next matchup, Bucks, Spurs, 8:30 p.m. East. Milwaukee's minus 7, totals 224.5. Now, the Bucks are going to work here today without Lopez and Portis. Meanwhile, Holiday and Hood, they're also listed as questionable. The Bucks are coming fresh off a 42-point humiliation to Miami, and they're currently allowing their opponents to make 48% of their three-pointers. Now, they're taking on a Spurs team who's shooting 49% from the field, and they're also playing some really good defense. San Antonio is holding their opponents to just 30% shooting from beyond the arc. DeJounte Murray's averaging 3 steals a game. Johnson and White with 1.5 steals a game themselves. Meanwhile, when it comes to the scoring with this team, Keldon Johnson, he's averaging 21 points a game along with 4 rebounds. Now, total-wise, San Antonio saw their opener fly over the total. 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Milwaukee also got over the line. I'm going to lean towards San Antonio plus 7 in the over 224.5. Next contest, Suns, Blazers, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Portland's minus 2.5, totals 231. The 0-1 Blazers allowed 124 points to Sacramento in their opening day loss. As a matter of fact, they allowed Sacramento to shoot nearly 42% from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Phoenix team who's coming fresh off an impressive double-digit victory over the Lakers last night. And although they're in the second of a back-to-back, I think the Suns team is resilient enough to play at a very high level on back-to-back nights. Now, they're allowing just 107 points per contest through 2 ball games. Top 3 in the league and fewest second quarter points allowed. Now, Chris Paul's averaging 19 points a game, along with a dozen assists. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges, he's scoring 18.5 points a game, along with 5 boards. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, Portland's 2-0 to the over thus far in the season, 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Phoenix. As a matter of fact, Phoenix is averaging nearly 116 points per contest in their last 10 meetings with Portland. I'm going to lean toward the Suns plus 2.5. And the over 231. And with that, guys, now it's time for our next and final matchup. It is going to be Grizzlies versus the Clippers, 10:30 Eastern start time. The LA Clippers are minus 4.5, totals 226. But despite being favored in this one, the Clippers are currently in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding after 1 ball game. Meanwhile, defensively, They let Golden State shoot 52% from the field in their opener and nearly 49% from downtown. Now, Kawhi's still out indefinitely. Ibaka and Preston, they have also been ruled out as well. Meanwhile, Batum and Johnson are also listed as questionable for tonight's contest. They're taking on a 1-0 Memphis team who scored 132 points in their opener against Cleveland. Ja Morant dropped 37 points along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Desmond Bane had 22 points along with 3 boards. Memphis shot 53% from the field as a unit. When it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of these teams' last 10 meetings fell under the number. And although I'm leaning toward Memphis in this contest here, they've averaged just 108 points per contest in their last 10 meetings with LA as well. I'm going to lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies plus 4.5. And the under 226. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 5-1 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks. I like Atlanta -7 over 223. Miami -4.5 over 223. I'm also leaning toward Toronto +4 under 216.5. I like the Chicago Bulls -8.5 under 213 and a hook. Minnesota -7 over 228.5. San Antonio +7 over 224 and a hook. Phoenix +2.5 over 231. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 5-1 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks on brockpage.com. I'm going to lean toward Memphis +4.5 and the under 226. With that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. That's going to come from our YouTube platform. And today's shout out of the day, that's going to go to Judah Aurier, who said yesterday, "Yo, Brock, thanks, man. You killed it today. The first 4 NBA games, you were perfect. I hit an 8 spot. Crazy. Spelled with a K." Well, congratulations, Judah. Now, an 8 spot, I don't know if that's an 8-teamer, an 8-leg parlay, or if it's in reference to the monetary value. Maybe it's a plus 800 price, maybe $800, $8,000. But whatever the 8 spot is, enjoy it. That is crazy with a K. Thank you, Judah, for that comment. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership on brockpage.com, just keep in mind, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of October. I always tell folks in every video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.